Welcome back to the Blissful Badger. I hope everyone's having a good day. So today, I'm focusing on building up 6 more Windriders for the Aeldari Crusade force. I already currently have 6 in the Crusade missions, 2 units of 3, and I haven't decided if I'm going to pay to upgrade each of them to 6-man or just add a 6-man squad. So I have a week before the decision needs to be made, so make them a little bit easier to work on, each one separate now. I don't know if you can hear, I still have a little bit of sinusy stuff from Nurgle, so hopefully I can make it through this live stream without a problem, so But yeah, yesterday was the first 2,000 point game of my Eldar in the Crusade missions, and I went up against forces of chaos. All sorts of demons. A great unclean one, and a Lord of Change, and a bunch of corn juggernauts or whatever they're, yeah. Oh, and a unit of flamers. Oh, and a bloodthirster, and 2 beasts of Nurgle, and I just dropped that on the floor. Let's see. Okay. And overall, I played a little bit more defensively than I usually do. I kept back a little bit, and I drank a lot of water right before the stream, so but anyway, it was a good game, and I ended up winning. So the Eldar are now 3 wins, 6 losses. And it really seems that I win the ones that have the lesser objectives to hold. So that kind of makes sense, that I don't want to be holding objectives. I want to be moving all over the board and taking out opponents from a distance. So I have to start thinking more about those fast moving and, long range weapons. So, Windriders. Because with the what is it, the Sharkin cannons, 24-inch range, 3 shots, sustained 1, Strength 6 is decent. And 2 damage for when it goes through. That can take out some models. So, that's my goal here, is build up um, 6 more. Because who doesn't want 18 shots of sustained 1? I mean, you know, that's pretty nice. And I think that'll help my army just a little bit. And I also have the idea of, before the next week, building up a unit of Shining Spears. And maybe even some Shroud Runners, depending on how the week goes. I have plenty of RP to buy into more options, and of all of my force that I have right now, I'm finding that the Wraith Blades aren't really the hard hitters that I would like them to be. Maybe I just bring them up against the wrong targets, but with them, I have the Axe and Shield combo, and 3 attacks at strength 7. Before having a Spirit Seer, you know, it's on 4s. So they don't really do amazing, because if you add the Spirit Seer in there, you're at, what, 250 points-ish? Somewhere in that range. And 5 of those is only 15 attacks at strength 7. And you have to be in melee. Whereas these guys can shoot 18 shots at 24-inch range at strength 6. And be 160 points? I mean, sure, they're toughness 4 versus toughness 7, but when you have that kind of range, you're probably going to survive a little bit better? I don't know. I'm just thinking that might be a worthwhile thing to take out. I can toss in a unit of Rangers and a unit of 6 Windriders for less points. So I'm not really sure. I'm kind of going back and forth. I like the Wraith Guard, though. I'm not going to take those out. They might be slow, but they hit so hard. But yeah, it's weighing options, and I don't think I'm going up against a lot of strength. Well, no. I don't go up against a lot of toughness 7 items. I'm the only Aeldari player there right now. And so the difference between a 6 and a 7 for strength, I can wound pretty good easily. Wow. Tongue-tied. I think strength 6 wounds just fine against most of my targets. I think it's going to be 3s or 5s almost all the time anyway, so... And with the better movement, I think I can not be in combat, close combat, as often. Which, based on previous games, is not the place that Eldar want to be. I'm better off skirting around the board and trying to take pot shots at things rather than charge right in. So... And I figure, Shining Spears and Shroud Runners, if I can build them, why not go with a full bike list if I... Or not, I'm not going to run a full bike list, but it'd be cool if I had a lot more flexibility and speed. So... that's where I'm thinking right now. I've had these models sitting around for a while, so it's time to build them up. Oh, if you haven't seen, I did end up getting my video out a few hours ago instead of on Wednesday, but it's out. I really love the way that I got those bases made. They look really good, and if it takes me another 3 times making 50 bases or so, be another 6 hours of work. They are not quick, but they look really good, so... really, really like the way that they came out. And it really does make me want to go back and base all the other models that I have painted that aren't based. Maybe not, the same level of basing, but even some texture paint going down should make a difference, and I think that's something I'll do in the near future. Well, in the future. I don't know about near future. I have several things planned in the next month and a half that take priority over going back and putting bases on models that I've already worked on. So, something for the future, but not a priority. We are actually only a few days away from my next quarterly Pile of Shame update, and it's one of the reasons why I'm looking at these Windriders and Shroud Runners and going, hey, you know, maybe I should do something about them. So, it's going to be a shocking Pile of Shame video compared to the previous one. So, because, you know, you can see I still have thousands of models to go. But the way that these are made, where the little bits are sticking up above, it's slightly different than most of the other models I work on. It's like the sprue tab is actually thicker than the model itself from the angle that it attaches and everything, which is interesting. These are a fairly new model kit, so I don't know. They clean up decently, though. So if I go like that, you can just barely see back there. Back there. A sneak peek of something that's going to be in the next video. It's not fully set up yet. But I'm already getting Wednesday's video together. Which is always a nice change of pace from the weeks that I've had where I'm like, oh no, it's Tuesday, what's my video gonna be about? These pieces are so small, it's hard to get the mold line sometimes. These guys definitely have more bits than a Space Marine. So for those that saw the community poll, what I gather from the responses is you want more content. Doesn't really matter what the content is, just more. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But that's what I gather from it. I hope the Shroud Runners don't take any longer to build than these guys do. I mean, with 2 riders, I'm guessing it's going to take a little bit longer. But I also know how Windriders run in my list, and getting 6 more of these guys that I know what they'll do versus building up 3 or 6 of something that I'm not sure about. I figured I'd prioritize the known quality. And go from there. My playback settings just went to 144 pixel. I'm like, why do I look so bad? It should be streaming at 1080, right? Yeah, okay. Hello! But yeah, overall, I'm feeling a little bit better. And I do think I can get these models done before the next Saturday. Well, built before Saturday, of course. I'm not going to get them painted. I'm going to set myself a nice goal of getting 17 models built, but they're not going to include painting as well in that. So... Alright, one of the two is cleaned up. Now I just have to clean the other one up, and then I'll glue them up. Of course, can I build them all up if my schedule keeps getting filled up? Possibly. Possibly. I think it's a good thing keeping busy, right? I really do like these models. They're nice models. Yeah, so yesterday's game, first 2,000 point game, and there were 3 objective markers down the middle, and part of the mission was that there had to be an 8-inch corridor down the middle of the board. So, you take one side, you swing around, and you slowly work your way up that corridor, and anyone that's out in the open gets shot. So, since he was running a mostly melee army, I had the upper hand on that, so I think that helped quite a bit. I don't think I would have done anywhere near as good if it had been a dense area where, I couldn't see very far ahead. But one of my Guardian Defender squads actually killed 2 of the greater demons, which was he had a bloodthirster and it had 1 wound left, and so I charged him with my Guardian Defenders and threw a whole handful of dice, and I did enough that I got a couple through his invuln, and just barely killed him. So, even though it's a Guardian Defender squad and I don't plan on ever getting to do it again, in the Crusade I actually paid to make them monster hunters. I don't think they'll ever kill another monster or vehicle. They could, but I don't think so. But I paid to give that to them just because it's on storyline. Like, they are now out there trying to kill monsters and vehicles. So, like I said, I don't think they'll ever get another kill like that again, but might as well give them something fun for the theming, right? So, but on the other side of the table, my warp spiders were going up against the what are they? The big Nurgle things that are T9. And they heal each phase if you don't kill them. And I split fired my warp spiders. And oh my goodness, why did I do that? I got him down to 1 wound, and then he healed him fully back. So, that was on me. I shouldn't have split fired. I got greedy. I wanted to take out his plague bearers and the big dudes at the same time, and should have just took out the one. But not everything I do is tactically sound. But it was on theme because the warp spider started taking out his plague bearers on turn 1. Took out, I did 3 damage, and then the second turn I overwatched and did another 5 damage, I think it was. Hello, people! Scrape faster. I'm gonna scrape safely But yeah, so I overwatched, and he was down half his plague bearers, and then the next turn I shot again and took out another couple of them, and then I charged in, and so through the game, my warp spiders had pretty much decided that the plague bearers were their enemy. So when I split fired, it was because of that. I wanted to keep on going after them, and I didn't actually wipe either of those squads because of the split fire, but you know, by the end of turn 4, both units were gone. I did table my opponent turn 4, but you're gonna make me cough. But yeah, it was a good game. I was happy. So yeah, I know I'm only through the body so far. I still have the vehicle to go, but no, I was really happy with that game, and I'm currently at a 33% win rate. So I can tell it's because Eldar are set up for winning on secondaries. They're not really meant to be just holding objectives in the middle of the battlefield. So the less objectives there are, the more likely I'll be to win. So it was fun, though. There were some good thematic points in the game, so yeah. So what are you up to today? Working on anything? Hobbying at all? Get any games in recently? Starfield, okay. I have a tiny bit of experience with it. But not actually by playing it. So but I do hear it's an interesting game. A lot of things you can do with it. Yeah, I'm having a decent one. Like I said, I got a little bit of nurgly goodness going on, but it's getting a little bit better. Should be cleared up by next week. So I'm pretty sure it's just last week was really busy, and I went out and enjoyed the day, and temperature change and all that stuff around here, and it happens. So did get a really nice hike in, though. Hello! I think this might be one of the higher streaming, numbers that I've had. I think I've only had, what? Maybe 3 times I've had 4 watching? So, it's pretty exciting. How is everyone else? I know, I watched some other streamers, and I'm like, they get, dozens to hundreds, and once in a while even thousands of watchers, and I'm like, yep, I'm excited. I got to 4. So it's all about my own stats. That's fair. I'm happy to just have some people for a few minutes. What have you been up to, Sedan? Thank you, Alpha. I try to just, be relaxing and enjoy the hobby, and figure I'd share it with everyone else that wants to watch. Try to keep the topics changing here and there, and what I'm working on, and I'll sometimes get on a big project and go for a few weeks at a time, but try to keep it changing up. Words of wisdom, Sedan. Words of wisdom. But yeah, I was like, I've been working on the Skaven for a bit. I figured I'd hop over to the Eldar again. Starting next week, I have another big project I'm going to work on for a couple of weeks. That's the stuff that's behind me. And I will be announcing what that is on Wednesday's video. So I think 1 or 2 people might already know what it is, but no spoilers, please. Build the hype. But yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get the Eldar built up before then. And, I really do just like to hang out and chat and get something done each night that I'm on here. And one day, probably next year sometime, I might actually try to do some battle reports. So just to mix it up, you know? Inline 6 pickup trucks with 4x4? Okay. Sounds fun. I'm guessing that's automation. I think we've talked about that before. So I hear that they just came out with a new release on that. I keep up with it a little bit. I like playing it every now and then. But I don't play that many computer games. Or at least not that frequently. So occasionally I get into RimWorld, but I think I enjoy watching people play it more than playing it myself. I don't know, maybe just skill level comes into that. But I don't think I've yet to successfully beat the vanilla RimWorld. So maybe one day I'll do it again, see if I can get through it. But I'm just thinking, personally, how many models can I build in the time it would take me to play through RimWorld once? And which one would I get more enjoyment out of? Whereas if I'm watching someone else play, I can work on models and have a storyline going on. get the enjoyment of both. So, there is that. Okay, 4 more bits. And then the glue. Oh yeah, last bit. So yeah, when the points dropped in a couple of weeks ago, I had already paid for 2,000 points in the Crusade with my RP, and because of the points, my whole army jumped to 2055. And since it said that if it goes over whatever your RP is, it just resets to that point. So I just didn't bother with it, and I waited, and I just paid for more to add new armies in, but it went to 2055, so the whole army minus a unit of rangers is perfectly 2,000 now. So which I'm okay with just running 1 unit of rangers. They're okay, but they're more of a speed bump for my enemy. They usually just go right over them after a turn of shooting or charging or whatever. So I did upgrade to 2400 as my options recently, so that I can put in some more options like more Windriders. So trying to have some options without being stuck to just playing the same thing every time in a 2,000 point list. Like, I think my Wraith Lord has only been in 4 battles so far, out of the 9 I've played. Which, you know, it's not horrible. Alright. That goes there. I think this might be the first time I've tried to build one without instructions, so if I miss a bit, or I do it in the wrong order, I'm going to blame it on that. Okay, come on. Like right now. I think I was supposed to glue that in first. Yep. Okay. Come on. There we go. Saved it. But alright. Yes. But yeah, I really like the way that these guys look. I'm glad that I'm gonna have 12 after I finish building these guys. And I could have had a few more than that, but I'm using the other 3 to convert up Warlock and Farseer Skyrunners. Because having 3 of those is better than having yet more of the same. When you want to have some options. So alright. Body. Fins and front. Okay. But yeah, it made sense to just build up 12 Windriders and 3 characters. Especially now that you have to go in units of 3, increments of 3. Makes a little bit of my collection a little bit harder to keep track of, since, it's not an actual unit that I can field. But these guys I have enough. It does mean that one unit of my Guardians doesn't line up properly, so I have some conversion fodder there. But it does make it interesting when you're looking at all the models and go, okay, well, I can field this many instead of that many. But alright, where's this lineup? Right there. Okay. Because yeah, if you have models that you can't actually field because of the unit size, but you still own them, it's part of the pile of shame, and it has less going for it to make you want to actually build them. So just slight interesting take on things, I guess. Just the longer you're in the hobby and the more likely you are to have odd troops and stuff, maybe from a conversion or something. But alright, so it's easier to put the guy on and then the arms on. And since I'm going to paint them on here, I actually drip a little bit of glue in there so he sits. And then, yeah. Come on. Come on, arm. Glue in. Or don't. It doesn't want to. Alright. Why won't it line up? Alright, I don't know how well that glue was, so I'm going to just do tiny drop right there. And hopefully that'll hold it on. Alright. I think this one just went right on, though. So. Yep. Alright. One Windrider done. Gonna let that dry while I'm working on this one before I touch it again. And this time I'll remember not to put the front bit on before I put the steering wheel on. There we go. Honestly, 2 models this size in an hour and a half isn't really that bad of a build time. Makes me think I can actually maybe get that whole pile of models built before Saturday. So long as I'm paying attention and don't glue myself to the model. I had a little bit too much glue. Alright. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to field a whole bunch of Windriders. And I think when I eventually get to painting them, I'm going to choose... Well, I have 12, so I'll probably choose 4 different paint schemes? No. I'll probably choose 2 paint schemes. Paint half in Biltan and... Well, no, 3 of them are already painted. I don't know. I really like the Biltan look. I don't know if I want my whole army in that color scheme. So, I don't know. But split units might not look great. I might still paint... Actually, I probably do 3 in each color scheme. I think the Shroud Runners will have the blue and black camo look. I have 1 Wave Serpent, and I haven't decided what color scheme I want for that. But oh. Ugh. And I think I want my not my Shroud Runners, my Shining Spears to be a really bright light blue and white fade. Make it look like they're going through clouds or something. We'll see if I can get that paint style. Not there yet, and I still haven't practiced with this. So, not there yet. One of the reasons I haven't worked on those models yet. Painting them. Something for the future. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. I'm going to try to glue the arm in first, and then I'll glue the butt. Since the last time it was rough, maybe that bit of flex will help. Or maybe it won't. Hmm. Yeah, well. Your arm's off. Okay. Stay. Alright. Yep. It's nice to have a set of tweezers just sitting around, just in case you need them. So, focus. Focus. So that was the first one I made today. This is the second one. This one is kind of sitting upward, standing on the thing a little bit more than the other one, who's sitting down. So, same exact kit, so it's nice to have a slight variation going on, even if it wasn't intentional. If I build one more, I can add it to at least one. So, it's getting there. But for tonight, I think I'm going to be calling it on 2. I don't know if I want to go another 45 minutes to build one more. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to get at least one more built before Saturday. I don't see why I can't get 4 more built before then. And I think I'll finish these and then... Yeah, I mean, I could keep going. But at the same time... But... Because once I get these Windriders built, I can start working on the Shroud Runners, right? So... I said one of the largest audiences, I didn't say it was the largest. I might have had 5 at one point. I'd have to go back and look. But... Actually, I could probably do that from here, right? Let's see. Where'd I go? You got me curious. Let's say... I'm seeing if it says anywhere on here. Aha, that's where I'd have to go. It looks like I have to click on each one to see that? That can't be. Now you're just making me... Okay, you talk me into it. I'll build another one. Sleep? Who said anything about sleep? Okay, so in the last 28 days, my peak was, can I paint 10 minis in 2 hours? And that was 4. So that would be equivalent to this one. And then completing the first unit of clan rats was 3 concurrent for peak. So I guess I can see the last 28 days, but not overall. So, yeah. And I've now learned more about the YouTube Studio and what it can display. So if y'all want me to continue, I'll go and build another one, sure. I do need to pull up my other music playlist, because this actually went on to just random videos. So let me see if I can get back to it real quick. There. Alright. Welcome to the next section of the live stream, where I'm going to build another Windrider. Look, motivation. Why put off building a model for tomorrow that you can build today, right? Yeah, I mean, seriously, I still have a good amount of tea left, and I have water if I need it, and might as well continue on, right? And it wouldn't be the first time I've gone over 2 hours, right? Whoop. Okay. So yeah, I figure there's another 3 games this planet in the Crusade. And if I win all 3 of the next matches, I will actually have a 50% win rate. So there's something to work towards, right? I don't know how likely that is, but you never know, I might be able to. And even if not, yeah, in the first 8 games, I only won 2, so just because in the 9th game I've won 3. But the good news is I won't go below 25% win rate. So I suppose being in that 25 to 50% win rate, it's not horrible, right? And honestly, other than when I get tabled on turn 2 or something like that, I'm usually having some fun, so... Usually if I get tabled by turn 2, it means that I did something really, really wrong. So... Because even with, like, Oath of Moment and a ton of good shooting, I usually field... what? Probably 12 to 15 units. So it takes a bit to target each and every one of those. They might not be very tough. They might be very, very squishy in close combat. But they're all over the place, right? So... Ooh, do I prefer to make or paint versus play? I think it depends on the day. So I guess equal enjoyment. Like, it's really fun to just sit and listen to music or watch a movie and work on some models. I like coming up with the color schemes and painting to the level that I do. I know it's not, display quality, but it is tabletop plus. So I enjoy up to that point. And I do enjoy playing when I get to go to the game shop and socialize with other people who have the same interests. So yeah, I think I enjoy all the different aspects. I even enjoy curling up with a good book and reading about the Tanith First and Only, or you know, let's see. Which other ones have I read? I still haven't read the Horus Heresy series. Actually, I need to read more of the lore. I think I've read mostly just the Tanith First and Only. Gaunt's Ghosts is a good series, so I'm sure I'll enjoy more of it. It's just, again, something that I haven't done, but I do enjoy reading. Yeah, I guess it's equal enjoyment. Certain days it's, going to be more pleasant to sit at home. When it's nasty out and cold and some snow on the ground, I definitely don't want to drive all the way to the game shop. So, but I think that's not as much not enjoying the game, but in not enjoying the drive. So, I don't know. But yeah, like, right now, like, right this moment, I'm having fun working on these models. If someone was like, hey, let's play a game right now, would I change from what I'm doing to playing? I don't know. That sounds like a really weird situation. Because I definitely have more opportunities to work on models and paint than play. But at the same time, it's getting later in the night, and I'm in the middle of working on something. So, interesting. I hadn't thought of that option yet. Not that I expect that to happen, but I think it's nice to have different moods where I feel like doing one or the other. So, I don't know. I'm gonna go with equal. Yep. I do know that a lot of people have, like, they don't like scraping mold lines or, painting. And it's like, I can understand that. There are aspects that are really obnoxious, like when you scrape and you can't get that little bit of line because for some reason you just can't get into it. But I don't feel like any part of it is a chore. Mostly because if I choose not to build a model, it can just sit in the box for a while. I'm okay with that. I haven't actually... Well, no, wait, hold on. I have several hundred, maybe a couple of thousand models that I just don't feel like working on right now. And if I don't, then I'm sure there's something in my collection that I do want to work on. So, like, I haven't built any Eldar for several weeks until today, because I've been focusing on the Skaven, and I've been having a lot of fun building them up and painting and working on their bases, and I really like the way that they came out. And I still have a few Skaven models that I really want to finish painting so that I have a full unit of Plague Monks, since I only have half a unit painted up right now. But it's not a priority because even when I finish that, 5 more models and base them, glue them to the base, it's still only 280 points, so it's still not enough to actually play the game. I think once I get to, 1,000 points, that'll be better, but that's a lot of rats to work on to get to that point. Whereas I'm already at 2,000 points of Eldar playable. Not painted, but playable. So, adding these models to that pile just has a slightly more interest to me right now. If I wanted to paint right now, I'd probably pick up the Plague Monks instead of painting Eldar. If I could play any faction for a game, I might choose something other than Eldar, just because I've been playing Eldar. And it's fun to vary it up. I think the last game I didn't play the Eldar was when I played the Tau, and that was over a month ago. So I think it's been like a month and a half, 2 months since I played the Tau. I haven't played my Dark Angels force since April. And ooh, my Blood Angels. I built those up in 9th edition Crusade Escalation before 10th edition released. And if you look at what my list was, oh, excuse me. If you look at what my list was and how I was playing it versus what you can field now, half of that army would have to be rebuilt. Like, I was using 5-man tactical squads, and I had captains that were with tactical squads instead of assault intercessors, and I had Razorbacks and everything like that, and now my tactical squads can't get into Razorbacks, and I could still field it as a Rhino. Well, I like having it for consistency to learn the army. You get better at the rules the more you play them. It's just that, like, when you're not playing a Crusade, you can bring whatever army. And you can just have fun with it. Whereas the Crusade's been fun because it has a narrative that the game master is putting on and gets to choose which missions and everything, and the missions are what's changing versus the armies. So it's not horrible, but you know, I have so many different armies, and I can't focus on any one of them and get really good with them if I keep jumping around. And I did choose to play Eldar before I knew how good they were supposed to be. So, but like, I have plenty of Tau that I could field. I do have a full Nurgle army that is not painted that I could field if I really wanted to. I've never played them, but I could. And I think going to the game shop on Saturdays to play in the Crusade is really good, and I do enjoy it. If there was enough time in a day to pick up a second game, I think I would play a different army for that second game. So, but with playing 2,000 point games, it's like 4 hours, 5 hours to play them. So, not quite the same as when you're playing 1,000 point games. Can't really pick up a second game in the same night, day, whatever. Whenever you went to play them. But that's one of the things about the Crusade. It's 3.5 months long, and then it's a new Crusade. So some people will take the same army into the new one, and some people will change to a different army. And I am leaning towards different army just because variety. But I think it's good to have the variety. Ooh, would I have chosen a different army for the current escalation? Ooh. I did choose Eldar because no one else was playing them. And I am still the only Eldar player. I had expected 2 or 3 other people to play Custodes, and so I didn't choose them. I don't have any of them built, so I would have had to rush to build them. But I think it would have been... they would have played differently. It would have taken a different tactic to approach the game. I don't know if it would have been more fun. Because the way the Eldar play, you don't want to be holding the main objectives, you want to be jumping around, which I'm doing more now, which I think is one of the reasons why I'm building more Windriders. Whereas with the Custodes, you kind of take the center of the battlefield and you just hold the middle. So it would have been a different type of gameplay. It might have worked a little bit better with the Crusade missions. But but I don't know if I would have had more fun with it. So... And I knew I wasn't going to play my Blood Angels because I had just done several months of Escalation League with them. So I'm okay with them being sitting on the sideline right now. And I am absolutely glad that I didn't choose Tau for the Escalation Crusade, because even with their updated rules, they're still just not fun to play. The rules themselves that they have are not fun. Hopefully their codex changes that, but I'm glad that I'm not just running Tau. But no, I think if just getting an extra game in here and there with a different army would probably be good. And I think that's why I'm also building a Skaven army. Like, it's not just Warhammer 40,000 every time. I'll be able to play Age of Sigmar when I get, you know, I could theoretically play a game of Warhammer Quest, Shadows under Hammerhall. I have all of those models built earlier this year. I just haven't gotten any of them painted. Like, that's a board game. That's way different than Warhammer 40,000, even if it is a models-based game. So, I think the variety helps. I don't think it really matters to me as much about what that variety is. Like, after a game of 40k, there's probably enough time, if enough people wanted to, play a game of Settlers of Catan. Not that I ever bring it with me to the game shop, but it's also why I have multiple decks of Magic the Gathering. Like, sometimes I want to play Elementals, and sometimes I want to play Birds. Two of my newer decks that I'm still working on building to a decent level. But Today I'm giving that a thought for a moment. I did read the comment. I would like to get my Star Wars Legion armies up to a decent level and try that out. I have half of the models built, and I still need to build the other half before I could even try to play. I know there's a lot more to it than just what I have, but, you know, I think it's important to have a variety. And I think that's why I'm building a Skaven army. Like, it's not just Warhammer 40,000 every time. I just haven't gotten any of them painted. Like, I think it would be a good introduction to it. Space Marine, the board game, was a fun little thing to try. I think there's a little bit of replayability in it. It's a very, very simplified version of 40k. But again, it's very similar to 40k. I still have that Arcadia Quest box set. I haven't played that. I remember when it came out, it looked really fun. Wouldn't mind trying that sometime. I don't think I would even need to paint them before I could play with it. It's a board game with cool chibi models, not anything that requires, construction first. They do count as models that I own, though, so I do need to paint them eventually. But beyond that, I don't know. I've considered a couple of the one-page rules options. I know they exist, but I don't know. I think one of the reasons I play Magic is because there's a local game shop that does that, and friends locally that do that. Whereas 40k takes a decent amount of time to get somewhere else where they'd play it. So being in a more rural location kind of makes it so you have to decide what you actually want to invest your time into. Oh. I own a couple of Squishmallows, but I don't collect them. So I know which one you're talking about. Those Halloween Squishmallows do exist. Oh, are there games or models I've invested but regret? So I've never purchased anything that was so expensive that I wish I hadn't bought it. Hindsight, would I choose to buy it again is a different story. I actually have a few good examples, so give me a second and I'll actually show a couple that I would not buy again. I do not regret purchasing them. At the time, I thought it was a good deal, so. But there are things that are multiple levels of back burner in the eventual painting. So things that I know are in the pile and will probably still be in the pile 5 years from now. And that's probably as close as I'm going to get to a regret purchase. So give me a second and I'll show you some. I was about to say, did the music just stop? Alright. So. And if you notice, I did start painting all of these. But Reaper Bones models, if you don't wash them properly before you start painting them, don't take paint very well. And they do not take spray primer at all. So, airbrush primer, I haven't checked. I think it will work okay. But overall, they have sat in a bucket, unfinished, for quite a while. And I bought these. These were add-ons to the Bones 4 that I backed. And I was like, oh, they're Chaos Demons. I can run them as Chaos Demons. I mean, you know, they're the size of a Demon Prince or a Bloodthirster. And they're really soft plastic. They're not the same quality, and they don't take the paint as easily, and they don't stand up on their own. They do have different weapon options, so different arms and everything, but they don't paint as well as I would like them. It's one reason why I just haven't gotten around to them. So, would I back them again? Knowing that at the same time I could have probably purchased 2 or 3 start collecting boxes for what I paid for the Bones models. I wouldn't say regret. I do enjoy their existence, but they're not anywhere on the short list of things that I'm going to work on. So I think the Dust Tactics models that I purchased as a Imperial Guard army are higher up the list of things that I would prefer to work on than those. So, but some of the purchases are like that. And they're not bad models, they're just not what I was expecting when I backed it. So, but yeah, I backed that Kickstarter for a little bit more money than I probably should have. And there is a reason why that's, 10% of my pile. But at the same time, there are also models in the Kickstarter that I have painted up, I enjoy, and you just have to be in the right mood to paint them. So, ooh, now you're asking a harder question. So, anything I regret not getting? There was a Facebook Marketplace item about a month ago that was a decent price and local, and I didn't ask for it. But at the time, I didn't really think I needed a second Age of Darkness box. I still don't need a second Age of Darkness box. I still haven't worked on my first Age of Darkness box. But it would have been nice to have a second Age of Darkness box. So I don't know if that's so much a regret or just a good deal that I wouldn't have passed up if it had been, right in front of me. I don't know. And I think the only reason why I haven't worked on the Age of Darkness box is because I don't know what color scheme I would go with for a 4th Space Marine chapter, being that I already have Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Grey Knights. So yep. Because, like, I look back at some of the other boxes that I considered purchasing. Like, oh, what was it? The game shop I was going to 3 or 4 years ago had a Forgebane box, and it was priced like 50% over the original MSRP. It was, almost a year after it came out, and it went pretty quick. But it was way too pricey. Like, if it hadn't been so expensive and I hadn't gotten it, maybe I would have been a little upset about not buying it. But I look back at that and I'm like, yeah, it would have been nice to have, but I also wasn't collecting Necrons at the time. I was looking at buying it just for expanding an AdMech army that I barely had anything for, and getting the new armigers that you couldn't get anywhere else yet. And, nowadays, oh, you want armigers? Good luck finding those. They're sitting in my room. But again, my knights are sitting in a box. I don't regret purchasing them, and they're not a priority, but I am happy I bought them. And I am looking forward to that army once I get to it. So I treat my pile as a sunk cost storefront. If I buy something at a really good price that I think I'll want at some point, that's a good thing, because I can always go and find something cool to work on, and I don't have to worry about the ever-increasing prices of GW plastic. Because, when I bought my... let's see. I bought my Age of Darkness box for about 35% off retail? Used. I bought my Warhammer Quest Shadows Under Hammerhall box and what was it? the Grey Knights versus Thousand Suns box. I bought both of those secondhand for the price that the what is it? Hexfire? Hexfire. What Hexfire would have cost. I got both of them for the same cost as Hexfire would have been. Like, I've built one of those models so far. I have 10 more in the process, but I've only built one of those models so far. For the Hexfire. But I did already build all of the Shadows over Hammerhall, under Hammerhall. So, I do purchase more than I think I'm going to get to, just so I have that variety when I get to it. So, and now I have 3 more to add to the army. But yeah, like, knowing what you have for a budget for the hobby, and staying within that budget for the hobby, I can't say that I've made very many bad decisions. um, I'm just scanning through the pile going, anything else interesting to talk about? Like several months ago when I bought the Tau lot, I didn't need a whole second used army of Tau, but other than having a few extra crisis suits, I can field almost everything that both sets that I've purchased combined. Like, I think I have, like, 2 extra ethereals that I can't field. And a decent number of crisis suits, but that's more because the rules on how you field crisis suits has changed. You know, you used to have bodyguards and that you could take and crisis suits, and now it's just the crisis suits. And like that's pretty good when you buy 2 whole lots from other people and combined they have very little overlap outside of what you're allowed to field. Like, that's not a regret. I might not get to them for very long, you know, for a while. I painted up the 5 Pathfinders a while back, and some of the Kroot, but, you know, they're there. I have them. I can field them if I want to play. So, you know. Yeah. other than that, I'll even go as far as I do not regret purchasing my 3D printers. I do regret that they do not work for me. Like, I was hoping they would be really good, I could get a lot of stuff printed. I could probably put more time and effort into them and make them work, but I also have a huge pile already, and the amount of effort for them is a little bit more than I would want to give when I have other hobbies, and I could spend that same amount of time playing games or building and painting the things that I already have. So, looking back again, would I have purchased them? Yes. Yep. Still purchasable. Just would be nice if they could actually work the way that I watch other YouTubers do. You know, they work them and they just come out with good things, and I don't know if it's learning curve or I just get really bad luck with electronics. So, but yeah. Well, now I have 3 Windriders built. That's a full unit, so without going and building another whole 3, I don't feel like that's something I'm going to do tonight. So I'm going to call it here, and I hope you enjoyed the extra 45 minutes, 50 minutes that I gave you. I did enjoy building another model, so thank you for keeping me here and talking me into it. But until next time, don't forget to watch my Wednesday video that I'm working on right now. Well, not right now, but that I'm going to be working on soon. And hope you find your bit of bliss.